Hi everyone, Jamie Madison here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing some freehand watercoloring. I wanted to try something a little bit different, so I'm going to start this video off with taping down our watercolor paper. This is some Canson XL watercolor paper, and I just want to show you some of these water brushes that I currently bought. These are from Arteza. They come with 3 wide tips and 3 point tips. So to get started, I'm just going to take a little bit of water on my acrylic block here. I use this acrylic block usually for color blending. And I'm just going to take 3 colors of the green, and I'll have those colors listed up in the left-hand corner for you. So these 3 colors I'm just pulling on this block so I drop in some watercolor. So I'm first going to start with this green color here that I have listed up at the top of the screen. And then I'm going to go in with the second color and then the third color, which is more of like a yellow. I believe it's an acid green. So I'm just going in with my watercolor brush pen here. This does have water in it, so I am squeezing as well. And I'm just putting a whole bunch of water down on my paper along with on these colors. I want these to really blend and mingle together, very loose looking color is what I was going for. And then don't forget that acid green at the bottom there. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe off my acrylic block, and then I'm going to take my big brush and I'm just going to lightly go through the color. I don't want them to blend, I just kind of want them to connect together. So now I'm going in with my pinks. I did mulberry pink, hot pink, and currant red. I wanted these to be pinks, but then I also wanted that deep color in there as well. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the grass kind of area, and I'm just going to really wet down my paper. I did not let the green dry, so you might want to let your green dry. It just depends on the kind of look you're going for. But for this painting that I did, I wanted it to just kind of all mingle together and be very loose. And that's the reason I do like using these colors, is they do blend very well together. So I'm just going to go in with my tissue and clean up the extra on top, and then I'm going to go ahead and dry this. So now, after my watercolor page is dry, I'm going to go in with my pencil and I'm going to draw my flowers. Normally I don't do these kind of flowers. This was my second time doing these flowers. The first time was the red picture that I did, and these ones I wanted to do blue. So what I did was I did like a pinwheel, very short and spiky, I guess you could say, flower petals. I'm not the best at drawing flowers for some reason. I don't know, I can't get the flower to look two-dimensional and not just flat on the page. So I'm getting better at it, but always got to practice. So what I did was I just did some super simple flowers. I do the circle for the center of the flower, and then I do a larger circle for how far I want my petals to come out to. And then I draw my petals in those 2 circles. So I went ahead and drew some little buds at the bottom as well. And once I got all of my flowers penciled in, I went in with my Arteza markers in these blue colors that I have listed up here at the top. So I'm going to start with the lightest color first and just put down my base. Like I said, I didn't want these to look neat and perfect. I kind of wanted them to even be messier than what they end up being. I wish I could have gone back and did a little bit more of a messier look. I really wanted them to look almost like the watercolor spilt out onto the page instead of more of like clean fine lines. I wanted it to be really messy, but it ended up not being that way because I am very controlled whenever it comes to my drawing and painting. I like clean, crisp lines, and so it's really hard for me to go outside the box and try something more messier and not inside those clean, crisp lines. So I'm doing better at it, but it definitely takes a lot of control on my part not to make it so perfect. I think that's what I struggle with the most whenever I'm doing cards, is I want every card to be completely perfect, and they can't always be perfect. As Bob Ross used to say, we don't make mistakes, we just have happy accidents. So on that note, so I went ahead and did the 2 other floral images here, and then I went back for my third one. I did skip past the second one because it's pretty much identical to the first one. and just started blending it in from light to darkest. I used 3 colors of blue, which I have listed at the top of the page, and just made sure I left that center. Now in the center, I wish I would have did a bit more of a yellow instead of a brown. At the end, you'll see, but it ended up being fine as it was. I just want to be able to get more of those two-dimensional flowers. I'm going to start really trying harder to work at getting my flower to bend and move more, but we'll get there. And then I went ahead and started with my rose buds. Not very good at painting rose buds, but we got to keep trying, right? So I did want to address that I haven't had a video up in over a week. I've been really sick, and I'm starting to feel better, and I wish there was a place where I could leave a message for you guys to say, hey, I'm not gone, I'm still here, really trying hard to get back in the craft room and do some crafting, but when you don't feel good, it's just really hard to even sit down at a craft table. That's the last thing I wanted to do, was to sit up. I wanted to just lay down. So I'm happy that I'm back in the craft room, and you know, doing some more artwork is just so relaxing. I really missed it. I kept thinking, man, I just want to get back in there and be able to, do some art and stuff. So sorry that it took me a while to get this video up, and I will be having another video here real soon. Just give me a little bit more time to get back in my craft room and start creating again. Hopefully I should have another video up here real soon for you guys. I can't wait to start on the new Simon Says September kit with the mermaid. I just got that in the mail, so I already have a really pretty card design in mind. So I'm going to start on that here within the next day. Hopefully I have everything I need to do that card. But to get back onto this card here that we are doing, so we're going to go in for the stems and the little tiny leaves, which I wish I would have left out, honestly. I don't like the way that they looked. It kind of looked out of place for me, but I went in with the crocodile green from the very beginning of the colors that we used to draw these stems. And also I wish I would have not drawn these stems so dark and deep in color, because when I went to put in the grass, it was hard to get those all to blend together. I almost wanted to go with a water brush and just start blending it all through, but I didn't. So then after I finished, I went ahead and went with that light blue that I used and just really watered it down on my craft block, as you can see, and then just started doing some splatters on this. I am going to cut this card way down, so I wasn't worried about too much on the sides and all that. So then I went ahead and heat dried it with my heat gun. So make sure you let that dry before you go in with your other colors for your grass. I wish I would have not went so dark with the stems, but I ended up covering pretty much all that up anyways with my die cut, so it ends up being fine. But like I said, I am really new to watercoloring and painting and all that. I used to do art in high school, and this was not the kind of art that we did, which I wish it would have, because I would have been very hooked on it very quickly. So I went ahead and cut that down, and then I got a dark navy blue cardstock out. This is just from Michael's. It's just in a little bundle of multicolors. You'll see me pull that out every once in a while. I have all these color blocks that I have in my drawer. And I just adhered that with my ATG gun and put that on. I think this is finally down to my Michael's 110-pound cardstock. I think I'm completely out of my Nina. So, which is fine, because the cardstock, it all works pretty much the same for me when it comes to the card bases. I'm not using the Nina to color or to watercolor on. It's just more of a 110-pound cardstock. So I went ahead and adhered that navy blue panel, and then I took some foam adhesive and I just put that on the back of my watercolor image here. There's so many things I wish I could have done a little bit different on this card. But that is the whole point of doing cards, is you learn every time what works better and better. Like the last card I did, I didn't put enough adhesive on the corners, and then when I went around with my pen, it bent in a little bit, which was fine. It didn't show on the card, but I just noticed it when I was, putting the dashed lines. So speaking of the dashed lines, that's one thing I wish I would have did differently. I wish I would have went in with a black pen and not this blue one. I just got these metallic pens and I wanted to use them, so I did, and now I wish I would have went in with a black pen instead, but I think it still looked very, very fine. So the scrap piece of blue paper that I had left over from when I cut down my card base, I'm going to die cut that twice with the Hello die. I think that ends up looking really nice right there. And then I went in with my Tombow glue and I just adhered these two Hello die cuts together. And then once I had those adhered, I just went ahead and placed that on my card. And that pretty much finishes up this card. It's a very simple, easy card, which is what I was going for. You don't need a lot to do this card. You don't even need to use the die cut if you don't want to. All you need is a little bit of paint, a paintbrush, and some watercolor paper. And let your creativity run. And hopefully if you do a card like this, I would love to see it. I'm on Instagram, just search my name and it'll pop right up. And I would love to see what flowers that you guys come up with and make. I love looking at your guys' inspiration. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye!